Who is Mark Carney, and how did he become Prime Minister? Mark Carney, Canada's 20th Prime Minister, assumed office on July 20, 2025, after winning a strong mandate in the Liberal Party leadership race. Known internationally for his tenure as the Governor of the Bank of Canada and later the Bank of England, Carney entered politics as a symbol of economic stability and global credibility. In the Liberal leadership election, he captured over 85% of the vote, defeating Chrystia Freeland. Shortly after, he led the Liberal Party to victory in a snap federal election held on April 28, 2025. Though the Liberals won 169 seats, just below a majority, Carney secured a stable mandate to govern. He is the first Canadian PM born in the territories and among the rare leaders to move directly from the private and public financial sector into the top political office. 2. Domestic agenda. Carbon tax, infrastructure, and Indigenous pushback. Carbon tax reform. One of Carney's first actions as Prime Minister was repealing the federal carbon tax on consumer fuels, effective April 1. While rebates remain in place to protect lower-income Canadians, the policy shift reflects Carney's focus on affordability during high inflation and global energy instability. Building Canada Act, Bill C-5. In June 2025, Parliament passed Bill C-5, nicknamed the One Canadian Economy Act. This legislation aims to harmonize economic rules across provinces and accelerate infrastructure projects like highways, railways, and energy corridors. However, Bill C-5 has triggered backlash from Indigenous communities who argue that it overrides treaty rights and undermines environmental protections. On July 19, First Nations leaders walked out of talks with Carney over this bill. They allege the government did not consult them adequately before pushing forward the law. Some leaders plan to launch a constitutional challenge in court. Carney's office has since pledged to improve consultation, but tensions remain high. High-speed rail expansion. Carney continues to champion a high-speed rail project between Toronto and Quebec City, launched during Justin Trudeau's tenure. This multi-billion-dollar project is seen as a centerpiece of economic revitalization and green transit, and Carney has promised to fast-track construction through streamlined environmental assessments under Bill C-5. 3. Trade and industry. Steel tariffs, lumber dispute, and diversification. Steel tariffs. On July 16, the Carney government imposed sweeping 50% tariffs on steel imports that exceed 2024 levels from Free Trade Agreement (FTA) countries, and a 25% surcharge on steel refined in China. Countries without trade agreements now face reduced duty-free quotas. This move is aimed at protecting Canadian steel producers and aligns with national defense and infrastructure priorities. A $1 billion innovation fund was also announced to modernize steel facilities and reduce carbon emissions. Softwood lumber dispute. Talks with the United States over softwood lumber remain unresolved. In a press briefing on July 16 in Hamilton, Carney stated, "A deal that works for Canada isn't on the table yet." With the U.S. recently increasing tariffs on Canadian lumber, this long-standing dispute remains a flashpoint in Canada-U.S. relations. Diversifying trade. To reduce dependence on the U.S., which still accounts for nearly 68% of Canadian exports, Carney's government is actively pursuing new trade deals. Talks with Mercosur nations Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay have gained traction. The international trade minister stated there's growing appetite